Hello, everybody, and welcome to the How I Met My Co-Founders series, a 6-part interview series about co-founder matchmaking. Each episode will unpack a different topic with relevant experts and founders that went through it themselves. From why you need a co-founder to putting the partnership on paper and everything in between. My name is Arantxa. I'm a startup scout at IMEC iStart, and I'll be your host for this series. Welcome. Today, we're tackling a big question. Why is the founding team so important from an investor's point of view? To explore that, I'm joined by two fantastic guests. Ruud Janssens, managing partner at the IMEC iStart Future Fund, and Louis van Urk, COO at Dubs, specialist in transaction advisory and fundraising for Belgian startups. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Ruud, can you start with introducing yourself and the IMEC iStart Future Fund, please?
Yes, so my name is Ruud. I'm the managing partner of the IMEC iStart Future Fund. It's a typically VC fund, so a venture capital fund. We're focusing mainly on the IMEC iStart accelerator portfolio companies, but a small part of the funds we can allocate to non-IMEC iStart companies. And we're funding in the seed Series A stage, so after the accelerator program, we're coming in.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And we're operating totally independent. That's also important to know and to mention, yes.
All right. Louis, can you tell us a little bit more about Dubs and who you are within Dubs?
Yep. So I'm Louis. I'm the CEO of Dubs. So I'm more on the financial side of things. At Dubs, we have both the financial and the legal. So we act as lawyers for startups, meaning negotiating and closing transactions, typically fundraising or exits. And then we also work on stock option plans. That's on the legal and the financial side. We work on everything that's financial plan and valuation, and then also introducing for some of the companies we select with our investment committee, introducing them to investors. And so my role as a CEO is more on the business side, and then I have our CEO is a lawyer, so very complementary skills here. And then in parallel also, I'm a lecturer at the Solvay Brussels schools.
Yeah. Right, our listeners, they are looking for a co-founder themselves at this very moment. Is that something that you do as well as a VC, for example, that you help teams look for a co-founder?
No, we are investing in existing founder teams, so we're not a recruiting agency, so we're not helping to find a co-founder. I think that's one of the tasks of the accelerator, because when they're coming, when they're ready to fundraise, to find venture capital, and they're coming to us, they are an existing founder team.
Yeah.
So I think that's a task for the accelerator to match the founders and to build strong founder teams and make them ready to build a company.
Yeah. Does it ever happen at Dubs, or do you also expect teams to already be established before they come to you?
It's not part of what we do, but it did happen in the past just because our network, common networks, we think just happened randomly last year, where I met someone I wanted to find a company, not just to invest, but to get a stake in it and work in it. And then 2 weeks later, I was meeting this founder that wanted to fundraise, and that was searching. That's super big luck, and then we matched them, and it's a great match. But it's not our work. Like, for example, we would never take a fee for that. It's just because we meet people and we put them together, but it's not something we do on a usual basis.
Okay. All right. We know from an investor point of view that the founding team is a very important asset when it comes to investment decisions. Ruud, you're making a lot of investment decisions. Can you guide us a little bit through the process of making that investment decision? How do you start? When do you know that you're going to invest?
Yeah, it starts with an introduction. So we're getting some introductions, warm intros often from the
Yeah.
IMEC iStart accelerator team, or we are approaching the founders by ourselves. And after that, we're looking if there is a match with the fund. So if the company falls into our criteria. For example, we are only focusing on companies who are based in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Italy. When the company is based in, for example, France, there is no, they're not a match with our fund, so we can't invest. After that, we are starting an introduction call. So we are having the first conversation with the founders to see if there is a mutual fit, and that's often a call. So we keep it efficient for the founders and for us. When that's going well, we can organize a meeting, a physical meeting, to see the founders, to get a demo, and we prefer to do that in their offices to see also the team, if there is already a team. And then if that's all going well, we start an analysis process. If the analysis process is going well, we can give them a term sheet. So those are the basic points of the deal. And so that's to start with. And then after that, we're starting a due diligence process with often external due diligence partners, for example, legal partners who are having a look at the company. And when that's going well, we can invest. So that's whole process is taking 3 to 6 months on average.
And how important is the founding team in that investment decision?
Yeah, very important. It all starts with the founding team. When there is, in the beginning of the process, no mutual fit, then we have to see the mutual goal of the founders. For example, we're looking for founders who wants to achieve an exponential growth with our investments, and we will help them with that. But they have to, they need to believe also in that, both of them, or 3 or 4, whatever, how many founders there are, and if they want to grow organically, there is no fit with venture capital. So we want to invest in those kind of teams. So then it's also a no for us from the beginning. So that's some of the criteria we have, and you can see it in the financial plans. When we see the financial plans and we see no exponential growth, then we are challenging the founders about that kind of things, and we can see it very early if there is a mutual fit and a long-term goal that we want to achieve together with them.
Okay, thank you. Louis, is that also your experience when guiding startups through in finding new investment, the process as well as how important the founding team is?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to touch upon something Ruud just said that I think is very interesting. Is sometimes we do meet founders as well that are, you just check the financial plan. You're like, this is not a VC backable kind of business. It's great. And then you really have to dig, I think, into the personality of the founder as well. It's like, do you want to create a great SME that makes some good cash in the next month? Or do you want to create a blitzscaling, exponential growth kind of startup?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
So, it's nothing wrong with that, but then you have to go to a bank or other way of financing, but not venture capital. So
Exactly.
that's, my point.
No, exactly. And that's what I tell also to the students as well. It's like, you guys have the choice. In the end, and great SME is also like, it's the backbone of our economy anywhere in the world. And it's really nice to create a good company that generates cash and pays all the employees every month. So that's so important for the economy. But don't go indeed and talk to VCs if your ambition is to do this. It's just not the right fit. But for us, it's also extremely important. We do around 100 transactions a year, but there's only 10 that we select with our investment committee and that we help on the whole process and introduce to investors. And when we think about what companies we select, we think exactly like a VC would think. And so there's the product, there's a go-to-market, there's the market, but number one is always the team. But for us, it's very difficult to judge the team because we have way less time than VCs do. We have a couple of calls, we try to make them come in the office, and we try to have a feeling very fast. And sometimes you have founders where you see their CV, you see the way their humility as well, the transparency, and you're like, that can work. Sometimes we discover during the process, unfortunately, that there were some flaws we didn't see. And we try also not to be in the calls with the VCs, because it's not our role. So we can't really see the way they behave either. So it's a bit of a challenge for us.
I'm very curious, Ruud, what kind of background checks do you do on founding teams? Do you really go through their CVs, LinkedIn, or do you also go through their social media? Do you involve your network to get to know?
Sometimes, but we are always doing ref checks. So we're always calling current clients, but also former employers to see which kind of people we have in front of us. And for me, the most important challenge is to get to know him or her when they are under stress. When when you have a startup, it's a roller coaster. So you have hard times and moments that's nothing going like you want, and then I want to see the founder in that particular moment, and then you really see how the person is acting, and also what the dynamic will be between the founders. And most of the problems are coming from stressful periods, and there is stress, and founders are cannot manage those stress, and they cannot rely on each other, and then that's also our role to to see when that's happening, and to talk with them and to stay communicating, because I think that's the key for a successful founder team, that they are staying, that they stay on speaking terms with each other, and that they're not getting quiet and stop the communication, because that's the worst thing that can happen.
You learn a lot by seeing them under stress and how they treat each other at
but
those
in the process,
moments.
So in the 3 to 6 months there's often there's not the stress that they will be facing when they are building the company. So to get to know that type of stress, or that type of behavior of those people, you have to call their former employees or co-workers or employers, or that kind of people who worked already with the founders and who know them very well in that particular situation.
Is that something that you also take into account, like look at them in stress situations before you make a decision? Because you said our decisions are going a little bit faster.
Well, we can only go that far. So I think they are way more stressed when they talk to VCs than when they talk to us. But we will ask hard questions, that's for sure. And also, a funny thing is that Deminor Next, our mother company, is mostly doing conflict resolution. So that's where we come from. And that's also how, as lawyers, we tend to build proper shareholder agreements that kind of creates, let's say, a clean way to separate if needed, or mediate or whatever. But so we try to put them in situations where we can feel them. Sometimes a bit of a difficult situation. Sometimes it's also just person to person. I'd say we're kind of lucky that they're not as stressed and they're not building barriers when they're talking to us. I think it happens more when they talk to you. And then it's just human to human, and we try to get their personality, the way they work together, their dynamics, and it's over the process you get to see what's happening usually.
And are there any red flags that you see early on?
One, I would say arrogance would be a red flag. So, for example, an overwhelming co-founder that takes the space, answers everything, and then thinks that he or she knows everything. That is a huge red flag. We also, on a personal basis, don't really like that kind of people. So we don't really want to work with that kind of people. But it's also, I think it's not going to work. There's so many things you don't know. If you're purely arrogant, it's not going to work. At the same time, you need to have this overconfidence in a way, or naivete, to make it work. So it's a bit of a balance. There's also a mindset of wanting to break everything. Go fast. You want to explode. And sometimes you feel founders that are like this. Sometimes you feel founders that are a bit too calm, a bit too, oh, it's nice. We'll see what will happen. That doesn't really work for VCs, right? It works well if you want to create an SME. If you want to create a blitzscaling kind of startup, you have to go for it and believe that you're going to disrupt the whole world. Again, mix between rational and naivete, kind of an ambition.
Yeah. Are that the same red flags, or do you have...
For me, I think a real red flag for me is when they are lying, when they're hiding important things for us. Then, for me, that's the biggest red flag there can be. Yeah.
Would you invest in like a super nice idea with the wrong founding team?
No, never.
No? And the other way around, have you ever experienced like a very nice team, but that you thought the ideas or project that they're working on is maybe not that interesting?
Yeah, it's the idea, or the product you can change. The team you can't change. And for me, the team is the most important of all. The moment that we are investing, that's very early. We can't change the team. Later on, you have there is money, there is more space. You can reshuffle the responsibilities, the task. You can add some more people into the core team. You can change the position of the CEO and CTO, who are often the two founders of the company. And you can add an external person and make him or her CEO and CTO. So, and then the founder is taking another role, and there is nothing wrong with that, because when the company is growing, you're looking for managers and not founders anymore. And then that is the moment that we can change a team and we can add more people. But in the beginning of the company, when we are coming in, then the team is the most important, and we can't change them. Everything is in the head of the founders. There is nothing, the mission, the vision, everything is in the head. So we can't add more people to the company and replace them and doing the same and asking to do the same thing, because it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
When the founders are really great, I haven't seen like blatantly bad ideas. Like it's hard to judge. Also, you don't know the market as well as they do. So, but like there can be ideas that in which you believe more or less. But when the founding team is great, usually it's hard to say no, this is a bad idea. It's generally hard to say. Also, you believe in it or not. But what I've seen is founders telling their idea in a wrong way. So I have an example of a company we worked with. We received the pitch deck. It's like there's something in there, haven't really cracked it yet, and then I worked deep into it and then reshuffled the pitch deck a bit, and then I was like, oh, this is it, like this is what works. So we sent it again to a VC that was already analyzing it, and the VC answered me. It's like, I have good and bad news. The good news that I finally understood what they're doing. The bad news that I have to rewrite the whole investment memo. But so that's our role as well. So it's complicated to tell your story. And so it's easier when you have a bit of a step back and you can see the company through other lenses.
Yeah. So we've been talking about founding teams, but what is your take on solo founders?
So on our side, let's say that we don't have a very strong rule on it. It's not something we love because it makes things harder. But sometimes you just cannot find a good co-founder, right? It's impossible. And we'd rather have a solo founder than about a bad team. It just doesn't make sense. But what we could look at is whether the founder is alone running the company with a lot of employees, or if the founder has a strong management that can challenge and that can work at the same level as the founder. And then you kind of have the equivalent as well.
All right, Ruud, would you invest in a solo founding team?
In theory, no, but in practice, when there is a solo founder, who is having a very mature management team behind him or her, we will have a look, because then it's important that the management of the company, so the team behind the founder, is having skin in the game, and we want to see that also in the cap table.
Yeah. What is for you a complementary and strong founding team?
So there's complementarity of skills that we talked about a little bit. That's a bit the first basic thing, to have a CTO and more of a business person, for example. That's classic. But then what we like to see is complementary in the way they think and manage the company. So typically having a founder that is visionary, wanting to go super fast, want to explode everything, kind of, with another founder that's a bit more rational, the operator, execution, focused, and that is interesting as well as dynamics. Then we also focus on the founders themselves. As on what we would look at is two things. One is really talented individuals in general. So we would check, the credentials and what they've done in the past, and then venture fit. So you can be super talented, but having no link with what you're building, and that is an issue. But when you're super talented, very smart individual, very driven, very ambitious, all that kind of qualities, and in addition you have a specific link to the company you're building, then it's perfect.
Anything you want to add, Ruud, or?
Yeah, we're looking for founders who are not risk averse, and who can manage stress, and that's for us the most important. I think they have to be aligned. They have to be the same bigger goal. I think those things are important.
So
for
in
us
terms
to-
of skills, they have to be a little bit different, but in terms of goals, values, they have to be
Indeed.
very aligned.
And another thing they have to have in common is like obsession with the problem they're solving. And that's for both of them.
Yeah. Okay. Ruud, did you ever invest in a team where you felt immediately like, yes, this is it?
Yeah, we're having that feeling when we talk to second-time founders. So those are founders who already had a company, a successful exit, or a successful experience as an entrepreneur, and then they can rely on that experience. They know the drill, they know the challenges. For us, it's less risk to work with that kind of founders.
Yeah, indeed.
Because above all, they know how to achieve, how to solve those problems.
Yeah,
because they
went through it before. Yeah.
It's
And Louis, did you ever had that feeling like right away when a startup walked in the first 5 minutes that you felt like, okay, this is it?
Yeah, I'd say that there's two things. So there's the same situation as Ruud,
Yeah.
and there's another situation as well where the founders that just have this energy that fills the room, and in addition to that, they're very smart and they're very talented, and they've done things around it already, so they know. So the venture fit and the capable. So that's one thing. But then to Ruud's example, we are working now on a 50 million raise where it is exactly that situation. It's a retake of the founder. And it's even one step further. It's not only the second company, it's the second company in the exact same industry with the exact same context you need to grow the company. And these contacts are really hard to get. And so basically the message is like, I've done it already. I'm just redoing it in a different way because I sold my previous company. And I know how I want to do it this time. I know the market, I know the people. And that's like, yes. But then there's other, like, it's not that the company is perfect and that everything will, we still have to work a bit on it. But it's such a good foundation for fundraising for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned that founders can have this energy in the room. Can you, and I know this is a difficult question, can you pinpoint what it is exactly that creates that energy?
In these cases, I'm thinking about is they clearly want to disrupt the market they're working on, but with a backing of proper talent and proper technique. So I'd say that the guys know that they were good, that they are good, and at the same time they are wanting to, not just do a good company, but with a precise goal of taking the place of that company. And so it's like that company is of course like a huge corporation with thousands of employees. They're like, no, what we're building, the goal is to get that company, but they say it and they believe it strongly. How can I pinpoint this? I don't know, but at the same time, when you see the guys, when you see what they've done in the past, you're like, yeah, they might actually do it. At least if there's one team that could do it, it might be them.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any last advice, closing advice that you would like to give to our viewers that are at this moment looking for a co-founder? Maybe Louis, I'll go with you first.
I'd say find someone that can challenge you, complementary skills, but that can also clearly be at the same level, like same intellectual level as you as well. So not just choosing someone because they're so passionate and so enthusiastic, they're so happy to be around in a startup, that will not really help you. That's one thing, but then you need someone that can really also challenge you and pull the whole company forward.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Ruud, what would be your final advice?
Yeah, like I do at ref checks, call employers, call former co-founders, and do the ref checks and try to challenge your co-founder before the start, and you can do a lot to test them in several situations. And I think the most stressful situation is the most important to know how he or she will act under stress. And I think when you get a good view on that situation, how the person will act in that situation, and that's okay for you, you can go ahead.
Yeah, and that's also have the hard conversations first, right? It's the same, a bit in the same line as what you were saying. Is also a bit like when for a wedding, right? You sign the contracts and you go to the notary and you have these hard conversations. What if we divorce? What happens? It's the same idea. Like, in addition, there's a share split. Is what are your responsibilities? What are my responsibilities? What if this happens? What if that?
And make it formal and concrete in a contract. That's also important, because I think some companies are starting with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of positivity, and that's good. But there are moments that it will not not positive anymore, or there are challenges to face. And I think then when you have a contract to rely on, that gives you. A little bit rest in the head. So that's my second advice. Then start with the contract.
So do the ref checks. 1, ask the hard questions, because that might also cause a little bit of stress, which is then again the stress test, and try to put everything on paper.
And the hard questions also about the long-term goal from your co-founder, because he wants or she wants to build a company who's growing more organically, and you want to have a more exponential growth. Then there is already a mismatch. So make that also clear from the beginning.
All right. Thank you, Ruud and Louis, for your insights. It was very interesting to have you here in the studio.
With pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, and thanks to our listeners. If you're still searching for your co-founder, we wish you all the best of luck. If you're interested in our next topic about how to find a co-founder, even if it's a technical co-founder you're looking for, don't forget to register for our next co-founder community speed date.